Shout out to my Patreon backer Bobby for this request here. Today we're going to jump into 1973's The Holy Mountain. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of We Break Downs. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. And before I get started, if there's a movie you want me to review, let me know. Please put in the comment section below and I'll get to it as best I can. And also for Patreon/Ali Zakka for $2 a month. You get the cut in front of everybody, get your review out way before it comes out on Facebook and YouTube. You also get extra content such as trailer reaction, trailer reviews, and much more stuff. Now, let's go ahead and get into today's episode of 1973's The Holy Mountain. This is a spoiler review, so you haven't seen the movie, definitely go watch it, come back, check it out, and get my thoughts on this. And this movie, what is it about? You have a guy who is known as the Thief, and he is recruited as well as other deities with a alchemist to get to the Holy Mountain, which is a place where they can become immortal. It's more of a journey kind of a movie. You start off with the Thief and you're kind of following his journey to meeting the alchemist and then meeting the other characters before they get into Holy Mountain and then try to get to immortality. And first thoughts of this movie, because I feel like this is a movie that I need to get my thoughts on, it's a very visual movie. This movie is not for everybody. I'm gonna just tell you this right now. It is definitely not a movie for everybody. You're gonna see stuff in here that's you're not gonna see in other places. This movie, I would rate this MA, definitely rated R, but MA, rated R, if there's not a rating to this movie. It was made by a guy named Alejandro Jodorowsky. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. And this movie is backed by John Lennon from the Beatles after he saw one of other Alejandro's works. And I feel like this movie is more of a creative art piece, artwork versus a movie. I almost had to look up the definition because I kept saying this feels like a film, which funny thing is a film and a movie are the same thing, but just different years the word is used. And you look on Google, people consider film more of like artwork, creative works, and a movie's more for entertainment, commercial value. That's what somebody posted out there. I don't think there's actual definition. To me, I think just movies and films are the same exact thing. But this definitely is more of an artwork style of movie versus more of a commercial entertainment style. And I'm not going to really jump into, because my channel is more of an entertainment channel, I'm not really going to jump into all of the philosophicals and thought process and thought pieces that this movie wants you to think about and jump out at you. But there are definitely pieces of the movie where it relates to religion and how people use religion as a way to make money. Like, for example, a thief, and I might as well just talk about it, but a thief looks like Christ, looks like Jesus Christ, and he just the way the dude looks. But people were using his look and likeness to make money off of him. They was taking pictures of him, just having to pick up a kind of like a wooden board that looks like a cross, and he was carrying it, just moving from one place to another, and people were like, take a picture, oh my god, take a picture, pick a picture. People were making a mold out of his body and make different like figures of him, and they were just like, what is going on here? Like, I'm just trying to live my life. And then the visual aspects of it really pop and they really stand out to me. But then when he meet the alchemist, I felt like this movie shifted a little bit. It went from more of like a kind of like a religious like think piece to more of a like, okay, we're just having fun here. Like, I felt like Alejandro, the writer and director of this, like, he was like, this is my artwork and I want this to happen here, I want this to happen here, I want this to happen here, that there, and okay, we got this laid out. Now I want to talk about the propaganda, how different governments and different, what's the word I'm looking for lack of a better term, let's go with governments, use propaganda to promote war and violence and get kids interested in war and violence. And oh, there's a comic book with Captain, which I'm a huge comic book nerd and anime nerd, so that to me popped out really well when I saw like, yeah, you use a comic book character to try to promote war. They did it with Captain America, they did it with Superman when World War II rolled around. Like, it's funny because to me, I'm like, yeah, we see that, but this movie was also made in 1973, which you look at the time, what's going on in the world around then, you're like, all right, it makes sense. Or people using money to get whatever they want and abuse money, and like this one guy who's owns a bed place, and sorry if I got this wrong, but he owns a bed place and he was sleeping with a bunch of women. Like he was just a business owner, and he is like every woman who comes in here, which also talks about places where at the time, and probably still happens to this day, where technically, yeah, it still happens to this day, but from the movie point, I'm going to say this is all consensual, but the idea of the boss seeing somebody he hires to try to make out with her and finds like push himself upon her, you know, and this movie is definitely all consensual, but like that idea, like that stuff that happens in real life, and I felt like Alejandro was really putting things like he felt like these are topics that we should talk about and discuss into this movie. That's what I got from watching this movie. Now, that's just I don't even talk about the visual aspects of it, because visually it is definitely a movie where, like I said, it's not for everybody. You're going to see body parts, you're going to see blood and grotesque and just different scenery where you're like, I have no idea what this has to do with the movie. Why are you throwing that in there? Sure, fine, knock yourself out, man. Look like you're having fun with this movie. I don't know what you're trying to convey. Like, there's times in this movie where I was literally looking at that like, yeah, dude. Sure, dude. It's your artwork. It's your masterpiece. Knock yourself out. Have fun. Like, and I don't know if Alejandro really wanted to just be over the top for over the top's sake, but that's my whole thought process and gist of the movie The Holy Mountain. And as far as the storyline goes, you do follow the storyline, and it does lead you to the Holy Mountain. And to me, I thought it was so funny. Like every time in the movie, I laughed. Like there's a scene where the dude's like, "You have to give yourself up to the world," and this lady is humping a mountain, and I'm like, sure. And then the end of the movie. The end of the movie, they get there, and the alchemist is like having everybody around this table, and then he goes, "We're in a film." And for a moment, I lost it. I started laughing. I was like, "Sure, dude, we're going here." He's like, "We're in a film. We're on a set," and they pull the set back, pull the camera out. There's a camera crew, and I'm like, "Sure, we're going here." And then it's kind of like, "No, just go live your life." And I'm like, yeah, I guess it's a film for me to don't review films. Don't take it too seriously. Just go have fun. I don't know. To me, it was really a unique film, and I found it very, very intriguing. I was entertained, but also there's times where I lost interest in the movie most of the times, but I was entertained. Now, the likes of this movie, I did like the creative piece of it. I did like the visual aspect of the movie. There are times though where I was like kind of confused on what Alejandro was trying to portray or explain. But as far as like the visual aspect of this movie and the way the colors and the different scenes, I did like that. The camera work, to me, just seemed like a regular movie. Like there wasn't anything that I felt like he. And maybe because there's, you know, this movie came out in 1973, so this is 2022. Maybe because I've seen all these styles and tricks used in different movies up to this point. So seeing it in, I guess, 1973, if I seen it back then, would I been more like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. And I don't know if I would. I'm not sure if I would be like, oh my gosh, if I saw this in 1973, but I definitely know the visual aspect, a lot of the imagery that's used in this movie, a lot of the things that goes on in certain scenes. Yes, I've been like, oh my gosh, how dare you, the art museum of bodies and people are alive, but like there's sculptures of them. Like, that's horrible. But like somebody who watches anime, I watch Attack on Titan. You see Attack on Titan, you'll be like, yeah, that's I seen that anime. like watch Attack on Titan. You see Attack on Titan, then you watch this movie, be like, yeah, at this point, this is. I'm used to that. Blood everywhere. I'm used to that. Sadly. I just watched Ninja Scroll. Yeah, sadly. But at the same time, like, I do like the camera work. I like the visual aspect of it, and it really felt like an art piece. Now, the things that I didn't like, there are times I felt like Alejandro was trying to be super extra and just be over the top because he could, and show a scene of a dude using the bathroom to turn into money, like, or turn to gold as he was calling it. But it really, like, there's certain things where I just feel like, okay, why are we watching a lady cut a bunch of chickens and sit in the tree with a katana, and then she cuts the man, and I get it. Chickens, roosters. You cut the guy private. I get it. But at the same time, why is that necessary? Why was that necessary? For what reason? Like, I just feel like there's a dude who was shooting milk out of tiger heads on his chest. Why? Like, there are certain seasons of movie where I'm just like, I just felt like, that's probably a dislike of me, I just felt like he was being over the top for no reason. And like any other movie, it does have its ups and downs. And I just found myself entertained, but also found myself getting like, bruh, what are you trying to display? What's the point? But then when it got to the planets, I did find myself really intrigued on like the different planets, and like Neptune and Mars, and what they're trying to portray with the different planets and how their lifestyle was. Now, when he got to Uranus, I was hoping that he actually made Uranus a sophisticated character. No, he made Uranus a joke character. And I was like, of course, Uranus, I get it. You have to make him jokey and cartoony and over the top, but I feel like he missed something there. That's just my hot take on that. But other than that, I don't know, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was fine. Like, it's a creative artwork, and I felt like to try to be like, it was more of a creative art piece than an actual like beginning, middle, end story where like today's, let's say, Batman vs Superman or Man of Steel or the Avengers, where there's like, we're trying to be more serious in this world. Like, this movie is, there's a sense of seriousness, but then there's also a sense of jokiness. Like, for example, there's a guy who's like, I have a bunch of bees on my hands, and the person like, there's flies, and your flies create shit versus like honey with the bees make. Like, that's a joke. So there's are times in this movie where it's serious, it's like it's trying to take itself seriously, but it doesn't really take itself seriously. And that's why I can't really feel like I can give this movie just a, you know, like, look at it in the same lens if I look at a Marvel movie or a Justice League movie. You can't, because they're not trying to be super serious in the world. This is more just like a creative artwork that I feel like Alejandro was really just like, this is my vision. I want to create this. I want to create that. Here we go. Enjoy it, embrace it. This is my topic. This is my thoughts on this topic. This is my thought on that topic. But I want to throw this in this movie. I want to throw that in that movie. That's where I feel like Alejandro was coming from, versus being like, here's a boy, and he gotta be super serious, and he's trying to figure out his way through life, and then he became the chosen one, and then he defeats the, you know, there's nothing like that. It was more just like, we got this guy who's a thief, who happened to be, look like a character or look like somebody, and we're making money off of him. But then also he goes into this world, fights Gandalf, which I literally said Gandalf the White when I saw him there. I was like, is that Gandalf? The Alchemist. But they fight each other, and then there's like visuals, and then you have this whole like, I had chosen you guys for the Holy Mountain journey to become immortal, and then at the end's like, there is no such thing. It's a film. So yeah, I feel like the movie was kind of not like a serious take. It wasn't a serious movie at all times. It was like just Alejandro's thought process and want to be a creative artwork, and it's like, this movie gonna be an artwork versus a like storyline film. That's how I felt out of it. Like, I felt like it wasn't taking itself super serious, and just seeing certain scenes of the movie, I was like, you could take clips of this movie and give it to somebody, and somebody probably would think you're watching 5 different movies. Kid you not. I can give you the beginning of the movie, I can give you the middle part of the movie, give you the ending part of the movie, I can give you a random clip in the middle of the movie, and you're probably thinking, am I watching multiple different movies? And you'd be like, no, it's the same movie. Same movie. That's my thoughts on it. That's my thoughts. Like, I really don't have like nothing in the movie really like, it's just like, oh my gosh, yeah, or like, oh my gosh, yeah. It was just like, this is an interesting movie. This is unique, different. It's an artwork. An artwork. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into like the budget, director, writers, characters. So I'm looking at IMDb here, and they have the budget. The budget of the movie is estimated to be $750,000. And I'm not sure if this was from the re-release, because the movie got re-released in 2007 and across the United States and Canada the opening weekend. So I don't know if this gross worldwide is from the re-release, or it's actually like released from 1973 all the way up to 2007. But the gross worldwide is $104,000. I'm probably sure because one, it probably wasn't really promoted like other movies, and probably got released in like small segments of countries. And runtime, the movie's runtime is an hour and 54 minutes. You have the director and writer is Alejandro Jodorowsky, and he's also the alchemist in this movie, who's one of the main characters. And then you have, I'm sorry I messed his name up, but Horacio? Sorry. Salinas, who plays the thief, who's the protagonist of the movie. He's the main character that you're following. And for the most part, because this movie is not really like, besides like he's been a thief. He's a thief, kind of a goofy character, and who's just like kind of really just following through. They don't really talk much. Matter of fact, the first majority part of this movie, there's not really much words and dialogues being said. Like, there's not really much conversation having. So you're really just watching the people, watching the actors portray like who they are, be like their actions. Like, that's how like the thief, he's stealing stuff. Like, there's a scene where the alchemist gets all the planets together, including the thief, to like throw away their money. Well, the thief doesn't have any money. He's like, I don't have any. But then he looks over and he sees one of the planets, I don't know which name it was, but they had like $1 or $100 bill, whatever the case may be, like sitting out, and he grabs it, puts it into his robe, and the camera pans around the room, and I just thought, and he looks directly at the alchemist the whole time doing it, which I thought was funny. It cracked me up. And the alchemist like, yeah, yo, bro, throw that in there. And I thought he had $1 or one bill. He actually had 2, which I thought was kind of funny. But anyway, like, and then when you get to the characters, they're just really talking about who they are, what they're doing, what their life are when it comes to actual like talking in the movie. So for the most part, it's more of a journey kind of movie. It's not really like this person is the main, he is the main person, but like this person is the main focus. Like, everything is from his aspect, but reality is not really from his aspect. It's kind of like from everybody's point of view. Kind of, you get the point of view of certain characters and what they're doing, and then the alchemist getting everybody together. Those two are really the main people you're really following. Everybody else is like, they come in the middle of the movie and they just have moments. Really. Any other thoughts? The camera work is solid. Like, you do have like the pan around the room. Like, you don't see different camera works and different angles, which I thought was fine. The music doesn't really stand out to me in this movie. There's music there, but it doesn't really stand out to me as much. The visuals of this movie is definitely a very interesting movie. Even from the opening sequence of the movie to the end, the visuals are something that's gonna be more of the talking pieces of this movie. When it comes to people talking about this movie, I feel like you're seeing what Alejandro really want to portray and what he want to talk about through the visuals of this movie, through the visual of religion, the visual of humanity, spirituality, visuals of war and propaganda and how society acts as a whole to this is a movie. Live your life. So that's my last thoughts. Is this a Friday night movie? No, I don't think this is a Friday night movie. This is not a movie that you can really get together with everybody and be like, yo, let's all get together, let's watch this movie, because everybody be like, what are we watching? Unless you got that one person like, this is my cult classic. I'm into cult films. This is it. I'm watching this. But everybody else probably like, if I show this movie to a room of 10 people at one time for a movie night, or 5 people for one time at a movie night, I can guarantee you 7 out of 10 or 3 out of 5 will either be looking at something else, check out within the first 4 to 30 minutes of this movie. Kid you not. But if you're somebody into cult classic, into artwork and creative pieces and different styles and visuals, this movie is going to be something that you really would enjoy. But as far as Friday night movie for everybody, nah, it's not. In grade time, I'm going to grade The Holy Mountain for 1973 a solid C. This movie gets a C for me, and the reason why it gets that C is, which is 75%, reason why it gets that C for me is because of the artwork, the style of it. It's really trying to tell something more of an artwork, creative piece versus more of an entertainment. You know, this movie does have things in it that are entertainment value, but what it really try to portray, I feel like Alejandro was trying to be more artistic in the way of portraying what his visions were and his ideals are. So I give the movie a C because it's definitely a different style of movie. It's a movie that I felt like I found myself entertained in certain pieces, but also I found myself bored in certain pieces and really just like, I can care less for this scene. I can care less for what you're talking about here. Certain planets, I was just like, When it got to Uranus, I was like, you made him a joke character. Fine. And I just kind of checked out of it. I didn't really care about Uranus. Pluto was another one. I was just like, I see what you're trying to say, but I don't really give anything about it. But there's other pieces of this movie where I found myself like, okay, that's an interesting part, interesting where you're going there. And then that last part of this movie where the visuals just like, why? But I get it. It was entertaining. Like I was intrigued, but I was just like, why? So there's different parts of the movie to me. I was like, yeah, I found myself intrigued at it. And as far as the artwork, he showed us in a school or a class. Well, he probably couldn't show us in a school, college maybe. He showed us movie in college to a bunch of college artwork students and filmmakers. I think they would get a kick out of this movie and try to figure out what it's about. Philosophy class would be another one, but as far as like an entertainment, like commercial style movie where this is blockbuster, like, yeah, I just found myself not really fully engaged in it. But I feel like I can't grade it on a scale of like a Marvel movie or Avengers movie. I feel like I have to grade it in a different style and grade it in a different just genre, I guess. You know, this is a fantasy adventure movie. It's not like Journey to the Center of the Earth with The Rock. Like, you know what I mean? It's a different style of movie. So I felt like from this style of movie and from the artworks and pieces I've seen, this is a C. I wouldn't go back and rewatch this movie, to be honest. And I wouldn't really be like, I wasn't super like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing ever. And got done watching it. I was just like, sure, that's fair. Okay. Yeah, it's a C. The story, I guess, storyline to me, I guess it's more of a central storyline, and you had like more of a kind of like you're following the character in the world from his aspect, like the thesis aspect, and everything's about like he's giving you more of a talking point. He's being more like more of a serious movie versus more of a just like this is the artist's thought pieces and artwork and what he want to portray. It's just, I guess. That's what gets me. I guess it's more like Christopher Nolan, I feel like, makes serious movies. So it's more like a Christopher Nolan movie. I feel like I can grade it in a scale of like, you know, like, hey, this is Christopher Nolan's and he made this movie and he was trying to do all this stuff. I'd be like, yeah, what are you doing, Christopher? But this is Alejandro's movie and he's definitely being shown like this is more of a creative artwork, not more of a movie theater kind of movie. To me, that's what gives it the grade of the C versus like anything lower than that. I found myself entertained, but also at the same time I also found myself like, why? So it's a C for me. And let's see here, because I do want to talk about what IMDb gives it. IMDb gives it a 7.8 out of 10, which is to me a C+. And Rotten Tomatoes gives it 83%, which is a B-. And Letterboxd give it a 4.1 out of 5, which is a B as well. So I give it a C. I go in with a 75%. That's my thought process and grade on it. If you guys seen the movie The Holy Mountain, what did you think? Please put in the comment section below. Other than that, this is a review. This is recorded. Go out there. Live your life. I'm about to walk away now because this shouldn't be taken super seriously. Bye. Have a good one. Keep being awesome. And this is a review again. Walking away. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate that. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. If there's a review you want me to watch or do, let me know. Please put it in the comment section below this video. Also, you want to watch the last episode movie breakdowns, it's right there. Just gotta click on it and you'll be able to watch it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Love y'all and keep being awesome.